Now, what's really more interesting is the fact that you mentioned beforehand on a show that you don't consider yourself a writer, yet you wrote this book. But what is really interesting is that you basically recorded this book for about hours, and then you got someone to transcribe it. That's really
Yeah.
innovative. So, can you share with us, like, for aspiring authors who might think that we're not, we can't write a book? Why do you think entrepreneurs, especially, or anyone, should write a book?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Well, I will say to your point, I don't fancy myself an author. I'll talk a little bit about the process and why I did the book, and hopefully that'll be applicable. So I'm busy like we all are. I'm running multiple location co-working space. I'm licensing nationally and potentially even internationally. We're working on a deal in Stockholm, Sweden right now. So we may be an international company soon. I'm launching all kinds of new programming and events on a weekly basis. So I have my hands full, as most entrepreneurs do. And the thought of writing a book is just, when am I going to have time? So it was actually 2 years ago, 4th of July, instead of going out where everybody else was having fun and going to their barbecues, I locked myself in our video room at Hera Hub and I filmed 8 hours of video of me just talking to the camera, my entire life story, just everything, the ups, the downs, the rebellion, the reinvention, the launch of Hera Hub. And I just talked literally for 8 hours. And I did have somebody transcribe that for me, and it really gave me the base of the story. I then took that content and obviously massaged it quite a bit. I had a friend and a member who has written and helped a number of people write books, continue to massage that content, and that's really how I got my story together. The additional parts of the book, and this is the way I operate, everybody's different, but I needed accountability. I'm doing so many things. I'm running in so many directions at the same time that I actually hired a young woman who was in grad school to come sit with me every single Saturday for about 6 months. And we just carved out the time and space to work on the book, especially that online platform I mentioned, because it's not just the content. I was filming videos, and it's this whole programmatic step-by-step process. And so I needed the support. I needed a proofreader, but I also needed somebody that I knew I had to meet every Saturday and work on this book and this online platform. And that's really what got me over the edge, so to speak. I also decided to schedule my book launch on a particular date for a particular reason, which was Equal Pay Day for women. Which is April 12th. It basically represents the fact that women have to work another third of the year to kind of catch up to the pay of men. And so I actually kind of said, okay, I want to launch on Equal Pay Day. And I sort of backed myself up and said, okay, in order to do that, I have to get my manuscript done at this time and get it to the editor. So I gave myself a self-inflicted deadline, if you will.
Yeah, that's really awesome. There now, speaking of women entrepreneurs, which you are doing a great job with that. There, I've read a statistic that shows that like the 10 top cities where where women entrepreneurs can start a business. And of course, I'm here in Houston, and Houston was number 4th city here for women entrepreneurs to start. And as ironically, not to promote, but this year the Houston Chronicle is celebrating its 115th anniversary, and I looked at the history of how the city was founded, which is very unique. So what will you say for us, for anyone, especially who's looking to start a business? What are the factors that should go into into the location of where they should start their business, like, especially like with support and also, great environment per se?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It depends a lot on the type of business you're trying to start. So I'm in San Diego. We're known as a pretty big biotech segment, as is Boston. Boston obviously is as a broader, more in-depth presence than we do. And a lot of that's driven out of the university system. So where is research happening? And you get, industry clusters around that, so to speak. And so because Houston, I was just actually there about a month and a half ago, has such a huge presence in the medical community, for example. I mean, so many really cutting edge research institutions and hospitals. If you're going to start a company in healthcare, then Houston might be a place to look at, right? Because you already have that hub, that economic cluster that's already there, that's being driven by, I'm sure, some of the universities as well. I will say the community that we support primarily of female entrepreneurs, we are not incubating the next Uber, Airbnb, Facebook in general. We're serving female entrepreneurs who potentially, some are right out of college and they're, launching their first business, but a lot of them have had, a career for 10 or 20 years and they've done the corporate thing. They're done with that. They want to use their strengths and talents to build their own dreams, so to speak, and build something for themselves and their family and have choice. It's not to say entrepreneurs, I mean, I work about twice as hard as I did when I worked for somebody else. It's not to say you're going to work less, but being in control of your schedule and the flexibility. If you want to be at your, son's soccer game at 3:00, you make that choice. And then you work from 10 p.m. to, midnight to make up for that, so to speak. And so our members are attorneys, they're CPAs, they're marketing experts, they're nonprofit organizations, they're management consultants. These are women who want flexibility and choice, and they also seek community. So they're not going to say, okay, I'm going to open my law firm in, Washington, D.C., because DC is the best place to do that. They have roots in this community. They want to support their own community. But there are, outliers to that. Again, if you're a tech company, you probably need to hoof it up to Silicon Valley, right? If you're looking for investment dollars and, you're looking for those connections, there are certain segments of the industry which, would not require you, but you'd be encouraged to at least have a presence in that city.
Yeah, that's really